All right, looks like I'm live, and the mic is up. All right. The camera. Welcome, viewers. If there's anybody here, there is, but in advance. Welcome to anyone who's catching the stream or watching. There's going to be a bit of setup, but usually I don't have viewers at the very beginning, so bigger shouldn't be a big deal. At least put them up. Also, I'm going to try and record time lapse if puts line and two. So might be a little slow getting started today. But, suppose for the people who aren't familiar with the process, we'll get to see it from start to finish. Or at least for the stream. So I don't do at the moment. Say I don't for day I try to talk not smart. Um I don't do a grid, but I don't do a grid anymore. Like against doing grids or placement of things. It's just I didn't find it to be the most. I mean, I found it to be very useful, but at a certain stage, it becomes I feel like less useful and kind of restricting. And there's other ways of doing the same things, so it's not that big of a deal. But I do like the crosshairs of the center. Suppose if I was doing a much larger painting, I might try and go for like I don't know, 2/3 of the, like, so I can get like maybe quarters. I don't know. Yeah, maybe a quarter. I could get the center and you know you down the line because I really like the center line. By the way, doing this while it's on here, very dumb. It is so much better. Or when I'm setting it up. So yeah, like right now I'm trying to put this, but I can't because the easel's getting in the way. So if anyone is wondering about this square, is literally just a square piece of paper to help me sure the software in order to, you know, get closer. I have to like skew everything. It's all you can see the camera's like up here, so everything's like really distorted. Kind of see it like my hands, and you would have to know what my hands look like, but you know, as I come in like this, you can kind of see. So the pencil I'm using is the Billo, Stablo. I don't know. It's a it writes on paper, glass, plastic, and metal. It's water soluble, but uh I go on so faintly better. Like, and I don't want it to be strong because I'll go in with I'll go in with paint and cover it up. If it's strong, it's hard. It either won't cover up well or start contaminating the paint, and then I have to wait for everything. Yeah, not good. Even that was too strong. You probably can't even see it lighting right. Yeah. Anyway, uh, great is it'll even write on this board. It writes on nearly everything. Oh, most things maybe. Yeah. that looks camera a little better. Kind of see the cutoff here, and I can mostly, yeah. Some people will use an image software, which is great, very smart. That requires a bit of foresight. And I was fixing this last minute. Maybe next time. Everything I have is in a small little area. I still lose it all. How I do that. Get my palette. For most of my palettes dry at this point. It's a while. Hopefully the big piles are still wet. Probably should have just put them in the freezer, but I totally didn't think about that at the time. This is why I'm trying to figure out where to stick my face. Before it was here. Now I have all this dead space up there in the corner. So this makes more. I can remember to. Guess when I stray that way. Yeah. I have to. This is use it, but so I can talk about some color theory and paint theory a little bit. So one of the things is I have a limited palette. Here I can take my face down for a show. So I have a limited palette. It is black, current currently Mars black, um, Phthalo blue, Quinacridone rose, Cad lemon, titanium white. This here is um Winsor red. It was going to be Cad red light, but I couldn't open my Cad red, so it's Winsor red. And I did that for a different painting. But obviously, I'm starting a new painting. Unless I have a very specific reason for it, I won't introduce another color um, unless I plan on using it in the painting. And Winsor red is very, I don't need it on my palette. I can mix almost the same color with this and this. I can get very close. It won't be perfect, but unless I'm using it out of the tube, I need it. So why wouldn't I keep it on my palette and use the leftovers? Because there's a little more to see. I mean it's nearly identical. How can I put this? Pigments aren't, digital. Their their attributes are different paints could look the same but function differently depending on, because one of the benefits of using a limited palette is that everything is very and everything like feels very connected. Um, Introducing another color and then not using it halfway through, like stopping to use it halfway through, won't won't feel won't feel very connected. Now, most likely, it won't be an issue in the slightest, but for just safety, or not safety, but better better safe than sorry kind of thing, I'm just not going to do it. Yeah, that's one of the huge advantages of a limited palette. It tends to feel very cohesive. The colors, most of the colors have a bit of all the colors in it, so yeah, it tends to ground everything better. I try and lay out my differently so that you'll see the palette. Like large. I just hate all of this stuff here. I could, if I zoomed out, I wouldn't have to skew it as much, I think. Wouldn't have that like black bar on the side. And you'd be further away from the painting, which I don't know. I feel like that's the focus, so I kind of want to be as close up on the painting as I can. I want to see what I'm doing right now. I'm just messing around with it. I'm just cleaning up my palette. I should have cleaned it before I left because I knew I was going to be gone. One of those things that I should have done. I wasn't thinking about it. If you have oil paint that is dry, one of the things you can use to loosen it up is rubbing alcohol. So if I got rubbing alcohol and rubbed it all over this, let it sit for a minute and soaked it kind of thing, a lot of the paint that's hard to get off would just slide right off. And yes, phrasing. Yeah. And in case anyone's curious, this is a glass palette. No, sorry. Well, it technically is a glass palette, but it's just a piece of glass from Home Depot. Was the size I needed, the 16 by 20. Yeah, 16 by 20. So yeah. But yeah, cheap piece of glass. It will scratch. The the expensive glass palettes, they will also scratch. So I used this for like actually quite a while. Once it gets scratched, I'll flip it over. Once that gets too scratched, I mean, a few scratches is fine, but once it gets too scratched, place it. Hey, Donley. He has this issue that live. Good to see you, Donley. And thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'll take the call. Maybe now you are, if you caught up, but you shouldn't be able to see my face at the moment. I turned my camera off. All right. Hey, Don Lee. Good to see you. I knew you're alive. Yeah. I knew you weren't on the live because I have my camera off. So I'm like, I know he's not seeing me at the moment. um, yeah. How you doing, man? Good to be back. So, yeah, here we go. I'm gonna turn my camera back on. I'm trying to figure out where to position it this time. Good. Glad you're doing good. Don Lee on Twitch. Um, yeah. It's Don Leo on Twitch. That's all right, I guess. Hope all went well for you. Ah, yes. I was on a trip. It went well. It went well. It was you know, family drama and stuff, but it all went well. So I'm using an old glass refrigerator shelf. The late 1880s, some refrigerators were made with two small shelves sides by sides instead of the large. Oh yeah. Hey, hey Joanne. Um, yeah, actually, some of the newer ones do too, but they're not glass. Of course, they're plastic. Um, maybe some are glass, but they have those shelves that slide in underneath each other to let you put in taller things if you want to make it like half. Those work too. But yeah, the glass shelves, a pane of glass or a glass shelf or something like that, it's all real. Some of them are real cheap and easy to get a hold of. All right, this is going to be a little weird because I'm so used to painting with my colors on top. Well, maybe I move it down. Uh, I'll keep it up there. I'll just put my colors over here. Yeah, I have a friend who found I think it was like a glass tabletop. The thing was like this thick. Like and he used that for his palette. Thing is that the really thick ones, they don't help it from not scratching. So in a way, it's not like having it be thicker. I guess it means that it's less likely to shatter by accident, but that's about it, right? I'll try. All right. Yeah, practically bulletproof. You like yours if it's tempered glass, if it breaks, it won't shatter. Well, I mean, it will. It'll just shatter into a bunch of million pieces. If it's tempered glass, it'll shatter into like a tiny little pieces, but it won't get the like large jaggedy edge one. The thing is, I know someone who bought a palette from one of the companies that sells, glass pallets. They're selling it for like $30 or something like that. and it scratched the first day she used it. And I'm like, all right, that's not good. So yeah, this one's thin. It's like a, I don't know, eighth of an inch or something like that. Like I said, it's also cheap. So when I feel like it's time to switch it out, I'm not going to be crying over it. The shards are less likely to hurt you with tempered. Yeah, absolutely correct. Donley says, I've used plexiglass before, but that scratches too. Well, the thing is, the plexiglass, the plexiglass works really well, but if I want to use a razor to clean it, you can't. And using metal, you know, palette knives, it has a tendency to scratch more. So, yes, absolutely. All right, let's get this up quick. Probably going to have to brain not. Yeah, uh, they haven't found the perfect material yet. So when they do, I'll let you know. As soon as I hear about it, I'll let you all know. Uh, but this works pretty well. I mean, if I was working on a very large painting, um, I'll, or when I start working on very large paintings, I'm probably going to have to figure something else out for this because this solution only works. So I'm going to try to a time lapse with cell phone so I can post online later. It used to have a one. Oh, there we go. All right, there. Yeah, I've also heard someone say that like not plexiglass, plastic is actually better to paint on than wood and all this other stuff. I don't know. I always question that stuff. Sorry, I was not. I was all prepared to start today. I started prepping like an hour ahead of time. Actually, I prepped earlier and then I prepped an hour ahead, getting ready. But then I started running into some problems with the plugin that I was using um, to distort the camera, and this became a whole thing. Whatever, what can you do? Anything? Right. Hey, Saman. Welcome. How you doing? Okay. You're okay? I literally was having trouble seeing that because text is. Yes, I know I probably need, but also a couple feet away from me. It feels so weird. I've been gone for like a week. Actually, I think for technically for a week and a little bit streaming. Yeah. Oh, my audio is clipping. Uh, okay. Thank you, Don Lee. I appreciate your help as always. Let me see if I can edit that a little. Yeah, I've been around. I was only gone for a short time, but the for streaming it was a little longer. I couldn't stream last Wednesday. All right, audio is clipping. Oh my God, why won't my the bit choppy? Okay, is it just the audio or is it everything? My mouse literally will not work. Eh, okay, it should be a little better now. I lowered the noise gate a little, so it should be better. It seems to be okay. That's good. All right. Let's get to sketching in the character. Yeah. Is okay now. Good, 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 good. All right, let's put out some of my Phthalo blue because I'm lacking blue on the. It probably helps when I talk at the microphone too. Like right now, I'm not talking at the microphone, and I'm raising my voice to compensate, but it's probably smarter to just face the microphone when I'm talking. You know, logical things like that. What is the okay, sorry. Oh, Joanne's on her phone tonight, so she's not seeing messages, just FYI. And Joanne, I apologize if I'm not saying your name correctly. It's Joe-Ann. And if I'm messing it up or something, anyone, if I'm messing up your name, feel free to tell me. Yeah. Saman, I know I keep messing up your name, by the way, because I remember you told me how to say it and I forgot, and I'm close, I hope, but messing it up. Right. So tonight it is it's a photo the photo reference is a photo I took. I had some friends of mine were kind enough to model for me. Um and you're pronouncing it fine. Okay. Thanks, Joanne. Good. Um so yeah, so we did a photo shoot. I've done one or two paintings based off of that photo shoot already. Um, this one, this one, I can't show the whole thing. It won't fit, but This one is based off of that photo shoot. Um, and there's a few other ones with the same guy. I mostly painted the guy. There's one where he's smoking. Not smoking. He got smoke coming out of a oh, what's it called? A skull. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. So this time I'm painting her, and gonna just lay it in to begin with. So when laying in a painting, usually I use my extra paints, like from my previous, from the previous paint session. But these ones have Winsor red in it, and I don't want to bring them into the painting, so I probably won't use those, and I'll just mix up a new color to just lay in some of the drawing aspects of it. Generally, the drawing stuff ends up getting covered anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. A smoking skull. Yes, a smoking skull. Not just a smoking skull, a rainbow smoking skull. He actually was vaping, and he blew a bunch of the smoke into the skull, and then it all it came out. So that was a nice touch. Yeah, no, it was great. It made the whole, like, I probably wouldn't have painted that if he hadn't done that. So it was a lot of fun. It added a lot to the painting, to the reference and the painting because of that. I do have some exciting news. Actually, it's two exciting things to talk about. Um, One is unrelated to the painting, but the TV show I've been working on premieres this Sunday, so that's kind of cool. Um, it's been a while, so been working on it, working and can't, have nothing to show, kind of thing. But yeah, it's finally out. It's finally coming out. Uh, Liad, have I been learning anything new lately? I mean, I feel like I learn new things all the time, but I haven't been studying anything, if that's what you mean. Um, you know. Yeah, I haven't been studying anything in particular. Um, yeah, so on, I did, I'm a storyboard artist on Crapopolis. It's a animated show that's premiering, like I said, it's premiering on Sunday. Um, so yeah. Um, so it's going to premiere on Fox this Sunday, which is kind of cool. Um, and then it's going to start, just being on TV, um, which is great. Hopefully, it's a success because that will mean uh, that we, get to keep working on it. Simone says, "Oh, you meant studying? No, I um, haven't really been studying anything. You know, I'm sure there are moments where like I'll study something, you know, but like it's not like classes study. What are some other shows you've been a storyboard artist on before? Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, I have done storyboards on the animated Guardians of the Galaxy show. It was it was a while ago. It was on Disney XD. Uh, I've done storyboards on Seismonos and Blood of Zeus, um, and He-Man, Masters of the Universe. I did some boards on that. Um, and there's been commercials and other stuff. I did, I did a lot of commercials, all kinds of stuff like that. But yeah, those are the big shows. I think there was a show Do or Die or something like that. I also boarded that, but that's not like an animated show. But yeah, that was one of my first like show jobs kind of thing. Someone says I've seen some of the Guardians of the Galaxy animation. Yeah, yeah, it was fun. There were some fun things to it for sure. Um, it was in the. I don't remember if in the previous movies they had Cosmos, but in the third movie they had him, and I remembered him from the animated show more than I remembered him from the movies. What is the name of the new show? It's called Crapopolis. Yeah, it's a it's a comedy that happens in ancient Greece. There's all the gods and stuff like that, but um, it, oh my God, I'm blanking on the name. The guy who created Rick and Morty. He's it's his show. I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. Not the guy who does the voices for Rick and Morty. No, the writer guy. So yeah, and the other interesting news or exciting news for me personally is that I just ordered I just received a bunch of old found photos. So hopefully there's some good material in here to make some good paintings. Yeah, Dan Harmon, that's it. Yep, Harmon, that's right. My mind just could not retrieve that information right now. Yeah. Uh, I think it's a good show, honestly. I uh, I don't working in the entertainment industry a little bit. You come to realize that a lot of times the success and failures of things, you know, there, there's a lot of reasons for it. Sometimes has nothing to do with the show itself and so on. So I think it's a good show. Doesn't mean that it'll be a hit, but I think it's pretty funny. So I've been enjoying working on it too. Um, like, have you ever seen if you've ever seen like a really bad movie, it's very interesting because a lot of times like there's bad movies and it's everyone who's working on it was obviously doing their best, and some of the people work, a lot of times it's people who are really good at their jobs, but there's just something about things not fitting. A lot of times it's budgetary too and scheduling. So all those things, of course. Yeah, it's interesting. What was it? Futurama was canceled and brought back and canceled and brought back. So you never know. Same thing with Family Guy. Family Guy was canceled and brought back. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I was thinking about doing it. I don't know exactly what. Part of me was thinking of doing like a watch party or something for it on Sunday, but not quite sure how I would pull that off. So I probably won't. Someone, I hope you're lolling at something you watched on, and not me, you know, uh, winking at you all as I'm measuring. Although I guess it's fine too. You just remembered that Chicken and Peter Griffin fighting on site. Yeah, yeah. Oh, congratulations, Don Lee. Don Lee just got his username in the chat to match his Twitch username. So now you can just copy paste it into Twitch and go to his channel. He does digital art, um, and I forget how often you stream generally, but yeah, fun stream. Sometimes it's funny drawings, sometimes it's portraits. It's a variety. Good stuff. Yeah, the Peter Griffin what's it called? Chicken fight. I mean, if I remember correctly, it happened numerous times. So and each time it had some unique element to it, which was good. Yeah, it's good stuff. I actually almost worked for um I almost worked on what's it called? On Family Guy. Almost. Didn't quite work out, clearly, but yeah, I tested for it. Um and you know, I'm not a fan of testing for shows because you know, it kind of sucks to work for free to like hope you get a job kind of thing. So it is what it is. But they didn't end up even checking my test. There was an issue. I think the person who was running it, or doing the tests, or running the tests, or you know, the HR person, whatever. Like I ended up no, not Seth, not Seth in the Caroline. Uh, just the like whoever PA, whoever I was in contact with. I think ended up leaving, and then they weren't responding, and then when they someone else finally responded, it didn't work out, that type of thing. So yeah. Yeah, Saman, I've noticed that you are the Baron of Bees. I don't know why. You know, why? I mean, like you said, it was a joke from another stream, but yeah. Uh, I noticed that when you changed your name. Wow, that would have been great. Yeah, son, it would have, you know, sometimes it just doesn't work out. I try not to think about it too much because, um, like, it would have had a, you know, my life basically would have been very different, right now. And I have no way of knowing if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Theoretically, seems like it would have been a good thing, but you never know. So, kind of don't worry about, I try not to worry about it too much. But yeah, it's just one of those things that happens. All right. Another stream, there was a guy called the Emperor of Cheese, and your joke was you're the Baron of Bees behind the scenes. You're planning an uprising. I get it, to the Emperor of Cheese. I get it. That's funny. Okay, what am I doing? All right, I'm making so because this painting, because the reference has, how can I put this? Usually when I do a reference, when I paint from a reference, or the traditional way is to block in the darks. My reference doesn't exactly have darks. I mean, it does have dark places, but it doesn't have that like shadow pattern. So instead, I'm just gonna put in like the darks, and then the all the rest of the colors kind of flat, and just block it in that way. Don Lee, if I don't know, I didn't see anything about that. I didn't hear about it, but that would be great if they did. I hope. Uh, Donnelly was commenting about the SAG. That he's wondering if if they got an agreement. I don't know. I didn't hear anything about it. If they did, it's like today. You know. Well, I say that's great. It's only great if they got what they wanted. You know, which I'm all in favor of. And in case anyone's curious, TV animation for what we're doing has no connection to SAG or anything like that. We're not scabbing or anything like that. The unions are all kind of what's it called, separated and blocked out into different things. The end is near for the Emperor of Cheese. His fun doom will be in your hand. Yeah. Good luck with that. I hope it works out. Take the bees should rise up and take down Cheese. I agree. But yeah, so for anyone who doesn't know, I flew over to the East Coast to Maryland and Baltimore area. Um, Luckily, it's not like winter, so actually, it was mostly hot, which was nice, but not too hot like Texas, because Texas has been awful as far as the heat goes. So it was really nice. East Coast, I you know I've been to the East Coast a few times, and I went once in the winter and vowed to never live on the East Coast because of that. So it wasn't too bad this time. It's like walking around there was like it's like, oh, this is very nice. I just have to constantly keep in the back of my head the winter so that I don't get tempted to move out to the East Coast for any reason. Joanne says I moved to Vermont a few years ago. I'm still cold. Yeah, seriously. I just remember I went to visit, and I went in November, and I stepped out of the airport, um and it had been snowing and everything was sludge on the ground, and I stepped out of the airport into the cold and just like hit me in the face, and I was just like, "Oh, I'm never living here." Is Texas cold? Yes, sometimes. We've lately we've had um unprecedented storms and winter and like snow and freezing and stuff like that. But it doesn't last long usually. That's the advantage. The disadvantage is we don't have the infrastructure for it. So like when it happens, nothing is set up to deal with it properly. Um, but it's also one of those things that it wasn't like this before. This is a new development. Uh, Thanks, climate change. So literally, that's why. Like it, we're getting these, winter storms. That in Texas is uh really stupid about how they run their energy, and by stupid I mean corrupt, um, and stupid, and greedy. So that also contributes to the problems. But it other than like a one-off snowstorm or something like that throughout in winter, it usually doesn't really snow here. But as someone who is used to LA cold, it was a lot to get used to. Someone, yeah, um, yeah, climate's weird, and yeah, uh, we get we get some flooding and stuff like that too. You know, I don't know. It just kind of depends circumstances. I don't think we get flooding like specifically in like where our house is directly, but it's around us. Uh, LA used to when I lived in LA, it used to flood a lot, but that's just because um, they're horrible and not set up to deal with the rain properly. So even when it wasn't raining a lot, it just couldn't handle it. So I lived in a building that it would like anytime it rained, there would be a pool basically forming on the street in front of the building, and the open courtyard of the building would also flood. Um, yeah. Hey Laura, welcome. Another step towards oil painting. You bought one of those brush cleaning jars and a canvas pad with 10 sheets of canvas. Oh, that's great. Good job. By the way, if you got the glass jars, the glass cleaning, the brush cleaning jars, um, if the one you got was a glass one with a coil inside, um, just so you know, it's not an airtight seal. It's sealed well, but it's not a perfect airtight seal. So, just to give you a little heads up on that. Um, I have one and I actually put it in I don't use it anymore, so it's just kind of sitting there. It's probably bad at this point, but good to know. Yeah, I put mine in a Ziploc bag because I don't want to accidental fumes kind of thing. Also, another thing, in case I don't know if you've ever used those before, but they're cleaning them is an experience. So just you know, um, FYI, like it might it's at the point where it's such a pain to clean them. Like not pouring things out, that's fine, but like actual cleaning them, it might be better to just replace them, honestly. Are the metal ones better? Yes and no. The metal ones, the metal ones are airtight, so advantage. Also, if you happen to knock them over, they won't spill. Although it does have a rubber gasket inside, so at some point that might die and then it'll start leaking or whatever. Um, the other thing is the grate at the bottom might not be as good as the like coil. Honestly, oh, I should ask, what are you putting in it? If you're not putting solvent in it, it's not going to be a problem. If you are putting solvent in it, honestly, it's probably fine. I'd just maybe keep it in a large like Ziploc in addition to closing it. I don't know. If fumes are a concern for you. the metal ones get dirty too. They get the bottom of them is easier to clean, but the grate is actually a huge pain to clean too. So, not perfect. What happens is the sediment on the grate or on the coil can get a little sticky sometimes after a long time. And when it starts getting sticky, you either need to scrape off the sediment on it or replace it, I guess. Yours doesn't have a coil, it has a wire mesh. Oh, I haven't tried that one. I've heard of it. I've seen it, haven't tried it. Just be careful not to like jam your brush into the mesh, I guess. Which I think is obvious, or would be obvious when you started using it, but yeah. Because it'll splay the things. It can be removed from the inside. Yeah, and that sounds pretty good. That sounds convenient. The coil one does not come out. It is such a pain in the ass to try and get out. Or rather, I don't think it even fits to get out, so you have to like clean around it. Yeah. Huge pain. But the metal ones are good because they're what's it called? Like you can take them with you if you need to. Oh, Simon, have a good night. It was good seeing you. I will see you later. I will be streaming someday. So yeah. How have you been, Laura? That's exciting about your, getting the stuff you need to start painting. That's pretty cool. Do you know what you're gonna start painting once you get everything you need to start? Do you have your first thing set up? Well, I might buy this stuff, but knowing me, uh, I'll not start a project. You're such a wuss. What do you mean? Like you're gonna get all the paints and then just not paint? Is that what you mean? Or do you have a specific project in mind and you might not start that, but start something else? Uh, I think about it and then come up with a bunch of excuses. Like, I'll get interrupted, I don't have a good area to paint, etc. Uh, no. I mean, I can sympathize or empathize with, getting distracted or, you know, procrastinating and all that stuff. But, you know, I will encourage you to to actually follow through with it because I think everybody should make art. Joanne, you're guilty of overthinking. I think we all are. I don't know if I've ever met an artist that isn't guilty of that on occasion, you know? Um, or if not regularly, you know? So you just need to pick a project and do it. No ifs and or buts. Yeah. So, um, my brain is failing to um, connect you with your, you know, your name here with your like socials. I think if I'm not mistaken, I follow you on Instagram, but like I can't, like I just can't bring up what you do. So I'm trying to think, but my brain is not helping me today. Um, so you know, I'm trying to think like trying to remember what it is you do so I can think about like what you're planning on doing with the project and so on. Do you have an idea for a project already? Also, it might be worth you know, it might be worth making it a little, you know, reducing the pressure a bit. Like, you know, just start with setting up your painting area, you know, like get that done. Um, and then you know, get everything set, put out your paints. We'll see if you start painting then. Once you already have the paints out. Although that's kind of a recipe for disaster if you don't know what you're going to be working on, so, you know, maybe not. Like I also think, you know, project the way you say it sounds, you know, sounds like a lot of work, you know. Whereas like a portrait doesn't sound like a lot of work. So it kind of depends on where you're going with it. Portraits mostly? Yeah. And you don't have to start by doing like a million portraits. You can just start with one. This board has two sides to it. One's medium grit, the other one's very smooth. I chose to paint on the medium grit because oil paint bonds mechanically, and I wanted to make sure it bonded better. The smooth side seemed a little too smooth. I am regretting that decision at the moment. The the paint just doesn't want to move. Man, that is just not a good color. The lighting's a little weird on this one because there's like LEDs going off and stuff. So it's going to be some like blues and stuff in weird kind of odd places. So were you I'm so sorry. Like I know I follow you, but my brain just I'm also tired, so you do mostly portraits. Did you paint with acrylics beforehand or was it all digital? Or was it pencil if I remember? Am I remembering correctly? I hate this. But I was asking because of the setup comment that you made about setting your area up. The way I set my area up, I'm lucky I have enough room to have this easel here all the time. It's a standing easel, so it can take pretty big, you know, um, canvases and stuff. But yeah, I just leave it up all the time. Uh, and my palette goes into a stay wet palette, so it's like an airtight thing with some clove oil. And I don't really clean my brushes. I just I like I I clean them, but not like I don't wash them. I just clean them and keep them. What's the word I'm looking for? Uh, I guess moist or wet for painting. So my setup as far as like the painting itself and the you know like tear down of it all is super fast, which I found to be very important to me personally if I wanted to actually get painting done. Having said that, now I started streaming and the whole streaming thing, um, you know, that is a whole other element that adds a lot to it. I know, looking at this, that not only am I going to have to fix a ton of elements like placement, my colors are going to need a ton of adjustments. I can see some of them already as I start to put down the colors and cover more of the white. I'm starting to get a better view of it all, which I suppose is why a lot of people do the you know the wash prior. Uh, I mean, obviously I don't, but the reason I could mention this, the reason I don't do a color wash to begin with, um, is because in order to do that, at least as far as I know, you basically have to use solvents for that. That's the only way anybody ever instructs on how to do a color wash. And because I don't use solvents in my painting, um, I just started foregoing that process, that step. It's usually not a big deal for me. Um, Also, when doing like high key stuff, it's actually beneficial to not do that. But yeah. Yeah. Laura says, I've worked with oil, pastels, acrylic, watercolor a little bit, but not much. But after you started digital, you neglected the traditional stuff. It's fair. It happens. I did the same thing. Um, yeah. You know, um, you might want to start with some simple still lifes. That might be an easy starting point. And the only reason I say that is because when I started oils, um, I could not get them to do what I wanted, and it was very frustrating. And the thing is, at that point, like my skill level, or it's the camera, my skill level, whatever, my skill level and my ability to paint in oils were way off. Like I couldn't even get close to what I could do digitally. Uh, Practically speaking, you don't have room or a space to paint. Where were you planning on painting then? And there might be, solutions to all of that. I've seen people come up with very creative ways of dealing with a lack of space. We have a friend, what's her name? Visual Nomad. She has very limited space, and she's, you know, made it work. She also streams on Twitch. Donley says I started with traditional and rolled over to digital too. I did too. I originally I went to the art school I went to was a traditional art school. I taught myself digital, and yeah. So yeah, I used to like I'd been working or thought I'd be working towards like doing concept art, stuff like that. So yeah. I mean, digital has a ton of advantages over traditional, without a doubt. I'm not uh yeah, at one point too, I one of the reasons I went digital in addition to all that was my living conditions uh like I just couldn't have all the stuff I needed to be a traditional artist. So everything I had went into storage, and I had a laptop, and basically, a laptop with a tablet, uh, an Intuos, an old Intuos tablet, and that became my whole art setup. Like that. That's how I did. That's how I worked. That's how I did everything. All my stuff, all my paints, all everything went into storage. And by storage, I mean a friend's garage. I couldn't even afford storage at the time. A friend of mine let me just drop my stuff there. So yeah, definitely advantages to digital. And now it's getting, even more convenient with like iPads and Procreate and the new Procreate Animate thing, and even the Samsung tablets are now getting really good. And you can run Krita on them. Donley, you're a Krita fan. Yeah, so they're like, as far as that goes, it's great. And I'll never criticize anybody for going digital or anything. Having said that, I will say that going back to traditional mediums, and getting back into oils, uh, and well, getting back to oils is actually incorrect. I never was into oils. I was into traditional mediums, but specifically not oils. Totally different experience. And also, like, I enjoy painting with oil paint so much more than I do like digitally now. Uh, Laura says, yeah, very small house. 3 adults live here with a zoo of pets. You'd have things crashing and oil paint and cats getting involved. You have Samsung tablet and use Krita. You did the Darth Maul on it. That's awesome. Took a bit to get used to it for sure. Have to have one with pressure sensitivity for sure. Uh, I mean, yes and no. Like I'm leaning, like generally I agree with that statement. You want to have pressure sensitivity with your tablet. You know, having said that, it depends on what you're doing with it. Because when I tried to, the reason I say that is because when I tried to emulate oil paint on my tablet, um, I ended up turning off pressure sensitivity entirely because it wasn't able to emulate oil paints anyways. Um, yeah, but generally yes, it's better. Check out Heavy Paint. It's a kind of different app, but check it out. It's a good app. I've heard good things about it. I know the person who developed it. She's an artist, and um, you know, um, it's limited on purpose. Like it's you know designed to be limited for certain uses, kind of thing. Yeah, Heavy Paint. Check it out. It's got some cool features on it and so on. But yeah, as far as your setup goes, I mean, look, I know it's there's uh I know it sounds like you live in cramped living conditions, obviously, and that can be hard. And animals, just make it harder. But you know, there are possible solutions to everything. Possible, possibly. Um, you know, I don't know that I can help, but help with ideas possibly if you're, struggling with it, you're welcome to, you know, reach out as far as that goes. Um, you know, I know people who they've set up in a closet, um, in a like walk-in, not a walk-in closet, the apartments in LA have these, and in other places they have these. It's just I've seen it a lot there. They have the double glass doors or a glass door, and it slides over, and they're not glass, mirror door. It's wood behind it, and it slides, and there's you know, a closet that's about this this deep. Um, but I know people have turned those into an art studio by mounting things on the wall and then, so on. Oh, that was leftover paint from a different area. Okay. Um, you know, the Stay Wet palette I think is a great uh solution for a lot of things. Like I don't know if there's like a scenario where it's like it wouldn't be useful. Sure there is, but yeah. The Masters, is it Masterson or something like that? Stay Wet palette. I got the largest one since I'm doing what's it called? um, oils, paints, I don't need the little paper that helps it, stay, the acrylics stay wet. So yeah, uh, that's very helpful. And then I don't use solvents because of the cats and the small space. Like I try and ventilate my room, but I probably don't ventilate it well enough to use solvents, I'll put it that way. That's one of the reasons I avoid them. Clove oil to keep the paints, uh, you know, to keep them wet. Also, big help. Uh, I avoid, I think I told you this, but I avoid, what's it called? Um, I avoid all of um, oh my God, the earth tones because they tend to dry faster, like the umbers. Having them dry faster can be a benefit if that's what you want. Um, I like working wet into wet, so I want everything to dry a little slower. Yeah. But if space is an issue and cats and so on, Uh, another thing I did was I used command strips, but you could use nails. But you can hang things, um, and I use clips to hang my paintings on the wall to dry, and that way they're out of the way of the cats and so on. I mean, don't get me wrong, hair can still get to them, but they're further away. And actually, I bought what's it called, foam core, and you get to put it to like sandwich it in front of the painting, so there's a smaller air gap. Oh yeah, that would keep the cats out of them. Yeah, yeah, it would. It helps. I can't really show you, but yeah, just you could basically this. So you see this wood right here. This this wood right here is the painting is um, taped to it. So I can I can clip this to the wall, and it doesn't have paint on it, so I can let it dry. Yeah, the cat hair in the painting are a feature, not a flaw. Absolutely. It strengthens the bond of the paint. Yeah, your paintings will last forever. Have I ever tried making a cat hairbrush? I mean, I bought cat hairbrushes and I brush my cats. If you mean something else, no. Oh, you mean to paint with? No. Uh, they're they're it's too soft. I'd never be able to paint with it. I Maybe if I was a watercolorist, I could make that work. It's way too soft though, honestly. Even for watercolors, I can't imagine it working. They're so soft. I have plenty. Yeah, I do. I could make pillows out of it. Like the amount of hair that comes off these cats. I mean, believe me, if I thought it would make for a good brush, sure, but their hair has no sturdiness to it at all. I think I'd have better luck making it out of my own hair, honestly. But even that, I saw I saw a YouTuber try that, an artist YouTuber, and it didn't go well. I would tell you to go see that video, but I basically am boycotting that channel, so don't go see that video. All right, figure is mostly blocked in. Let's get that background in real quick. I'm going to need more. I'm going to have to order uh, paint soon. What color am I doing here? Yeah. You know, doing my own photo shoot, I learned a ton from it. It's it'll be interesting next time I do one to see if I can implement all the like things I learned from the one I did with the current one I did, or the current one I'm working off of, I should say. You saw a very showy artist painting with her own hair and other things. Her process was more of a spectacle than actual painting, but her work looked very nice. Saw it on Instagram. That's cool. There's a painter I follow on Instagram. She does finger painting. She does the everything finger painting, and it looks great. She's a great painter. But the thing is, her paintings are huge, so um, the scale uh, helps her overcome the inaccuracies of her or of painting with her hands. Uh, I'm not saying people can't paint with their hands. I've seen great you know finger painters. It's just it looks like it's done with their hands a lot of times. Her stuff doesn't look like that because you have to be so far away. You might have bookmarked it if you can find it. Again, you'll share. Awesome. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, I mean, people do all kinds of stuff. Some of it, is like, some of it is, I don't want to say legit because that's not really what I want to go for, but sometimes the process is more important than the final output. Although it sounds like this one that you're talking about does both, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I'll never forget this. There was a show, um, long time ago. I saw an art show. Okay, let me rephrase this. I saw a TV show about an art show, and one of the artists being featured was an artist she was having a show in a gallery. It was like a big deal, and she sculpted, but all the sculptures she made, she did with her mouth, with her teeth, and they were made out of one was chocolate, one was butter, I think, different stuff. Um, I'll never forget that. Like I don't have no clue who this person is, but I'll never forget it because it was such a like moment in my brain where I was just like, okay, so it doesn't matter what you can do anything, someone will like it. So, you know, so you have to do what you like. And you need to find your audience more than you have to do what other people like. So, which is not easy, getting your stuff out there in front of people, even if you're not shy about it, it's just not easy. It's very difficult. But if you can get it out in front of the right people, there's an audience for it. Doesn't matter what it is you do, doesn't matter what the quality of it is. None of that matters. Just have to get it in front of the right people who are your audience. Don't ask me how you do that part because I'm working on it. I'm trying to figure that out. I remember I talked to a business person, and I'm not like marketing about that, and they're like, you know, uh, you know, what is your, you know, who is your ideal customer? Who is your client? And who are these for? And I'm like, I'm in a me, and they're in my room. I don't know. Like I'm, you know, painting for myself. I don't know. Like I don't know what to say. Like I hope other people, I wanted to speak to other people, but I don't know how to find. It's not like I can just go online and be like, you, this will speak to you specifically. I don't know how to do that. Hi, Dresden. Baby boy. Dresden has awoken. We're gonna go full screen. Give me that face cam. Dresden! Dresden! Aw, baby boy! Yeah, the star of the channel is here. If you haven't seen my community post, uh there's a very cute picture of Dresden there. Oh, no, you can't go. I need to exploit you more. Oh, he's just all fluff. Okay, okay, you can have my check. Here you go. Oh, you love how orange he is? Yeah. Art is a passion. If you treat it like a business, it's often going to lose passion. And then will it be art? I mean, it's definitely a balancing act, for sure. Um, I don't it, I think you can make art even if it's a job. They're like, what is art is is a complicated question. You wouldn't think it would be, but it is. And because there's no real definitive answer, I generally try to avoid it because what is art? I don't know. I don't know. So I focus more on the process of making art, or what I consider to be art for myself, you know. But it's definitely a passion, and it will, if, I feel like if you go chasing the, like customers and you go like chasing that stuff, I'm not saying you can't have any success with that. You definitely can, but um, I don't think, I think you're less likely to, and even if you do have the success, you might kind of trap yourself into something you don't even want to do. So so I just kind of avoid that, honestly. You know, I'm not I don't try, like, when it comes to my painting, I paint what I want to paint. Um I don't paint what I think will be successful because that's just not how I'm approaching it. And with these streams and with other things, I'm gonna, I'll try and get it viewed by as many people as I can. I try to do good work. I think I'm a good painter, um, you know, but a lot of people need to see it, basically, regardless. Uh, so, so yeah, that's kind of my approach to it. My job. I think I don't know if you were here, Lauren, when I mentioned it. Laura, sorry. Um, but for work, I'm a storyboard artist. I work for Fox, and our show is actually coming out, premiering on Sunday, which is exciting, you know. And I do storyboards for them, and it's a great job, and I try and quote unquote make art with it, whatever that means. I try and do a good job, and I enjoy drawing, but that's work. That's my job, and when I can, my goal is to paint. And so I try and do that whenever I can. This medium texture on this canvas, or actually it's not canvas, it's a board, but I'm regretting not going with the smooth side. I am not enjoying it. Once it's all covered in oil though, it probably won't make a difference. Like as soon as I get the first layer finished, it'll be fine. All right. Ooh, we're getting close to the end for tonight. I unfortunately can't do a long stream tonight, but I will get to the brayer stage of this painting. I'll put it that way, because I have to. It's kind of a stage I can't skip at this point. Because if I leave it and I try and come back to it and the paint's not wet, I literally can't do it at that point. So if I want to use the brayer on this at this stage, I'm going to have to, finish blocking it all in and get it. So I think I mentioned it earlier that I know that there are some aspects of the drawing and the colors that are wrong. And for me, using the brayer and everything is kind of like putting down a wash. And this just helps me kind of see everything. And then I go in and when I go in to like fix the drawing, I have all these landmarks because the paint, naturally creates all these landmarks for me to use as reference points. So yeah. Also, it's a great opportunity to use some of the paint that's starting to get a little thick because it's been out for a long time. So the white specifically was feeling a little stiffer than it should have been. But yeah, the show is called Laura. By the way, the show is called Crapopolis, and it's premiering on Sunday, so I'm kind of excited about it. It's an animated show. It should be after The Simpsons, although on Sunday it might not be. I don't know. Anyways, I think there's some kind of football game or something happening. I'm not sure. Is there a football game on Sunday? Like a big deal kind of football game or something? I don't know. Oh shoot. I forgot to put this back on. No clue. That's fair. I have no clue either. Anyways. Yeah. It's exciting. We're working on season 3 now, and it's only now premiering. So it was supposed to premiere last year, but it got pushed back. Jeez, that black is so strong. So my black pigment I've said is Mars black, and it's just a little bit of it in the mix, and it's overpowering. Oh, one thing I'll say, Laura, uh, get good lighting for your painting setup. Uh, if I wasn't familiar with all the ins and out of lighting, um, or before, I just used to buy like whatever reveal light bulbs or something. Just you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, you can paint with those for sure, but yeah, there's a lot of new options out there that can be very helpful, especially with limited space. Setting it up so that you can have good lighting, it can be um, challenging, but also can help you turn spaces that like don't currently have good lighting into spaces that do. So I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, like that could make a that could open up locations that you can't currently paint in, possibly. I don't know if that's helpful or not, but yeah. So I bought I'm trying to remember what it was called. It's like a hobby clamp-on light, and it was all right. I'm not a huge fan of the one that I bought. Like it works, but once I bought this lighting that I currently have, oh my God, the difference in color was just huge. Um, yeah, big difference. Um, so this is I think it's waveform lighting, and it's just like an LED strip that's in it that like is in a tube. Um, yeah. Your sister lives in your basement with her cat. Your daughter lives on the second floor with quite sloped ceilings. She's got a bedroom and the cat room up there. I see. You have the kitchen, your bedroom, and living room, main floor. Oh, and the bathroom for all. There's no room. I mean, you could paint in your bedroom, um, or bathroom. I know some people who do it who have repurposed one of their bathrooms as a painting room, but also bedroom. You don't need a ton of space. Um, you can mount your stuff on the wall, so you don't need an easel. There are wall easels. You can buy them, or you can just there's other ways of mounting them on the wall. Um, that can save a lot of room. I have one of these IKEA rolling carts, um, and I just you can put that like your paints on that, stuff like that. Look, I mean, look, I don't know your situation, so when I say there are options, like there might not be options. I'm not trying to correct you on that. I'm just trying to give ideas, because I'm just trying to be helpful, basically. Can't stand for long periods of time. So, let me think. One entire wall is desk with PC and tech stuff. Sure, 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 sure. I get that. Dunley says, I assume you got lighting that is daylight temperature to help ensure your perception of color is more correct. Yes, it's not daylight entirely. It's kind of neutral. And waveforms specifically, they also have something that they um, something to do with the reds. You can actually see reds better under this light than you can in under like other daylight bulbs. Um, anyways, yeah, it's 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 good. Um, I like them a lot. It wasn't that expensive, and it's a here. Let me show you. It is a hold on. It'll get the exposure in a second. So, I mean, it's just like a fluorescent light bulb with that has the housing on it, but it's not fluorescent, it's LED. It's a 4-foot one. It plugs into any plug. And I put what's it called? Aluminum foil on it to so it's not in my eyes and it bounces everything back. But yeah, really good. And it's, because it's like that, you can mount it in a lot of different places. So I found it to be convenient. Um, Wait a second. No, wait. Uh, Laura, you're not. I think I'm getting you confused with someone else. For a second, I thought I was getting you confused with someone else because your situation, the stuff that you reminded me of, made me think of someone else. And anyways, sorry, I got distracted and I was thinking of someone because I did a painting of someone once who, um, I think it's the Des art part that kind of threw me off. Anyways, yeah, um, you know, I used to have, um, I can't get to it right now, but I used to have a tabletop easel, just a little thing. And I put that on my desk, and I'd use that to I'd paint on that basically. So like on a computer desk or something, just where I used to sit and draw for work, I'd then put that up and do all that kind of thing. All right. Time for the brayer, and then not much after that, but yeah. So this brayer is the smooth one, or sorry, it's the hard one, and the other one is soft and smaller. I like the soft one more. I'm learning. I like the one that has a little bit of sponginess to it. This one is doing more smearing than rolling. Oh, there we go. Now it's rolling. But yeah, I feel you. My back definitely hurts after painting for long periods of time. I need to use my what's it called? The stool I have more often. You do have a tabletop easel. Awesome. If it's not convenient for you to use the tabletop easel, because given positioning, like it can be a little awkward, There's a tabletop easel that kind of hangs off the edge of the table, which I thought was really interesting. It's kind of like one of those things that it's like only under very specific circumstances would I think of using that. Yeah. I'm going to the smaller one. It's so much better. I'm gonna have to buy more of these, but bigger ones. I prefer it a lot more. So that's great. I learned something new because I wasn't sure which one is better or what I like more. I definitely prefer these more. Laura, you're also welcome. You're welcome to message me if you want help if you have questions like if there's something that's like I'd say like a big hurdle and you're like I want to do this or use this space or but I don't know how I mean I'm not saying I'm sure you're you know like you know I'm not trying to how can I put this I'm sure you're more than capable but sometimes having multiple multiple heads on things can be helpful. I definitely have had people give me advice on things that have been super helpful, and it was like, I didn't know what I didn't know until I knew it, kind of thing. Do I check Instagram fairly often if I message? Yeah, fairly often. I'd say so. Also, if you're on Discord, that's also you can also message on Discord, or in the Discord groups. If you're not, that's fine too. No worries. All right. I'm just trying to hit all of these uh, white spots right now because I don't like them. So I'm gonna do that, and then probably gonna be calling it a night for tonight. Um, Normally, under norm under other conditions, what I would do is I would take this and I would go in with my what's the wipeout tool and um draw in all the things I'm missing, or not missing, but placement, all the things I need to replace and so on. Um, but I've been running into problems with that where I would I would do that and then I wouldn't have time to paint over it. So then I'd have all these lines to deal with, which were causing issues. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it at this stage. And when I go back to it, I'll just use paint to draw in everything because that works too. So yeah, that'll be the process for this one. Um, am I in Don Lee's Discord? I am in Don Lee's Discord. thanks, Don Lee, for letting her know. I appreciate it. Yep. So yeah, I'm basically going to be calling in a night at this stage. So also, it's I guess I should mention it. I will probably be taking a photo of this, throwing it into Photoshop with the reference, and then when I come back to paint all the corrections, all this, like all these little marks that are on here, act as landmarks for me to know where to place everything, uh, which is very, very helpful. So yeah. Anyways, but yeah, I'm gonna have to call it early tonight. So, um, like I said, streaming on Sunday day. Um, trying to think. I think I'm going to be starting at noon Central Time Sunday, and yeah, be going from there. Thanks, Don Lee. Laura, thank you for stopping by. Saman, um, and anyone else who I forgot. I am sorry, my brain does not work properly. Thank you all for stopping by. I appreciate it, and I will see you later. Have a good night.